So to the one viewer that called my content white feminist nonsense, that one's for you. Hey there, and welcome back. I say welcome back because I assume that if you're here for part 2 of this series that you've already watched part 1, where we started a history of scandals and controversies of Trisha Paytas' career. And in that part, we focused on her, what I called early career, which was more or less between the years of 2007 and 2015. And during that time, we got to see how Trisha Paytas started to become somewhat of a controversial figure on the YouTube platform, but also in the public eye in general, as she was on a lot of TV shows. But a couple of things. Because Trish has so many controversies, it is going to be very easy, I'm afraid, to miss something. So if I miss something and we've already gone through that time frame, please reach out to me. DM me on Twitter or Instagram preferably, because I check that more. And we may do an extra part towards the end of this and cover anything that I may have missed in the primary episodes of this series. The other thing, wow, 2016. When I did my research, just looking at the year 2016, I noticed not only was that a time that drama started to get very real for Trish, but there was so much that happened in that year that I just don't think that we're going to be able to cover more than one year in this part. So it doesn't look like this is going to be a 3-part series. It looks like it is going to be more. So there's that to look forward to. So I want to cover the really important points in the beginning so that we can keep this intro under 7 minutes. Thank you to all of you who pointed out to me that my last intro was too long. Yes, I know. So in our last episode, I said that if I ever tell you to put a pin in this, that means we are going to see a pattern of behavior as this series goes on, and that behavior that is pinned is something that we will be visiting later. The purpose of this series is really to educate ourselves on the scandals and controversies of Trisha Paytas. So while I may give my commentary here and there, this really is an educational video, and it is up to you to decide whether you want to give Trish another chance or you want her outright canceled. It is not on me to make that decision for you. With that in mind, do not take my opinion on any one particular scandal or controversy to be my opinion of Trisha as a whole. What I try to do with each of these controversies is just break them down and look at them through as unbiased of a lens as I possibly can as a human being. And lastly, this is not a place where hate is welcomed. Yes, we do talk about controversial topics, but I am not welcoming you to send any hate towards Trisha, towards anyone mentioned in this video, towards me, or towards each other. So keep that in mind. That will not be tolerated in the comments. If you're here watching this video, you're probably too intelligent to stoop to that level anyway. So moving along, 2016 was a very big year for Trish in terms of drama. I think that's when things really started to take a turn in terms of her impact on the YouTube community. And if I'm not mistaken, it was around this time that she started to build a very strong relationship with Shane Dawson, and therefore was gaining more exposure and thus having even more of an impact on the YouTube audience.
So basically, one, Mitt Romney is super hot. Then another reason I'm gonna vote for Mitt, well, my kitten is named Mitts.
So of course, I would like you to put a pin in this. In April of 2016 is when Trish really started to ruffle a lot of feathers by posting a video called Why You Should Vote for Trump. And in it, she is wearing a Trump t-shirt, and she goes through a list of reasons for why you should vote for Donald Trump in the upcoming election at that time. She says in the video,
so first and foremost, I consider myself Republican.
I consider myself Republican. She references having a MAGA hat somewhere nearby.
Our country is great. It was great. It's okay now, but I think it could be great again, which is Donald Trump's motto, Make America Great Again, right? Again, yeah, I have a hat over there.
She talked a good bit about the wall that Donald Trump wanted to build and illegal immigrants and all the run-of-the-mill stuff that came up at that time when Trump supporters were talking about why you should vote for him. And at first glance, I think a lot of people would think that this is a trolling video, but in that video, she did acknowledge that she has trolled a good bit in the past, and she wanted to make it clear that this was not a troll video, that she was serious and she felt that this was a necessary video to make.
Please don't take this video as offensive, as saying you're wrong, as saying I'm right, or as a trolling video, because this video is 100% none of those things. I have done a why I'm voting for Donald Trump video, sort of trolling in the past.
Now, why is this drama? For most people, it's obvious. I don't have any stats, but my guess is that a vast majority of Trisha's audience, my audience, and a lot of young people on YouTube are of a certain demographic that did not share these views on that presidential election. However, I did mention in my last video that I don't feel it's my place to tell you guys what the right way is to vote and what the wrong way is to vote. That is not the point of this video. But the problem with this situation is when you jump to 2019, Trisha puts out an apology video for this original video endorsing Donald Trump. In this apology video called "I Do Not Support Trump," she gives some reasons for why she said what she said at that time, or why she may have believed what she believed at that time, by telling us a little bit more about her background, growing up in Illinois, being around only Caucasian families and students and peers and all of that. And she said kind of, you know, I was more or less just repeating what I always heard growing up.
There's two towns mainly that I grew up in, and they were all just like closed-minded. They'd always like it was, you know, they made jokes about gay people and, you know, people of different races. And I've never, even to this day, like there's never a time where I'm like on a tweet, like, you know, calling people like racist names or something like. When you hear people talk a certain way or something, like growing up, like you just kind of buy into that. And like for the longest time, like I didn't even understand like being gay. Like, you are a culture of how you grow up.
But she also referred to that video as just another troll video. She called it satire.
But I just overtly dumbed myself down. Like, I'm voting for Mitt because my cat's name is Mittens. And what was so funny for me is like big channels like the Young Turks were picking that up and like critiquing the video and like, this is a Mitt Romney supporter. And I just thought in a way it was kind of like satire, and I thought it was funny, and it was a troll video, and it worked. Like I was on like Larry King's like CNN show, like just repeat it because I was like, okay, this is controversy.
She said that in her mind at the time, there was no way that Donald Trump would win the presidential election, and that this video was very clearly satire. And while I don't take issue with Trisha posting troll videos in general, I do have a problem when she clearly states, I have trolled in the past and I am not doing that now.
Or as a trolling video, because this video is 100% none of those things.
So according to this 2019 apology video, it was really at the time that Trisha started to see on the news families being separated at the Mexican border, kids in cages. All of that really started to break her heart and make her feel very sorry for this video, this satire video that she made in 2016.
I think the one that like really hit me was like the one where like kids were being like separated in like cages and stuff, and I was just like.
But there's a few problems with this. One major problem being that in her original video, she focused very largely on illegal immigrants.
Foreigners all the time, they love America. They come here, they want a green card, they come here. Our country is great. We have so many illegal immigrants in this country right now. I live in California. There are so many taking our jobs, not paying taxes, which are two horrible situations in regards to our horrible economy. So you're taking our jobs, You're not paying taxes, we're paying for you. Same thing goes with the women who come over here to have the baby to give the American benefits. They come over here pregnant, have the baby, they can stay, and now they're reaping the benefits of Americans without having to do the duties that we have to do as Americans. So the wall, per se, is to control that. Same thing with banning the Muslims. A lot of people are like, oh my gosh, he thinks every Muslim's a terrorist. Again, I don't think it's that. I think it's more of controlling who comes into our country.
And just as a side note, while I am not an illegal immigrant, my mother's side of the family was when they came here from Mexico. Given that I am a Hispanic woman and I come from a wildly racially diverse family, I don't think that matters to the internet. So to the one viewer that called my content white feminist nonsense, that one's for you. She also took this to Twitter and posted a lot of tweets that seemingly were in support of Trump. Things like, everyone needs to chill the fuck out. Donald Trump is our president. Don't like it? Move out of the country, but this whining is annoying. And you can say that all of this was just one big troll. This was just a huge, huge episode of satire and one of Trisha's best acting gigs to date. The problem is, while she says that she does not support Donald Trump, she is supporting Donald Trump because this satire video sent out a message that is supposedly contrary to her actual beliefs to millions of viewers. Millions of impressionable viewers. And now in present day, she is claiming that she actually never really cared much about politics, that at 30 years old, she had never voted, that she didn't identify one way or another, whether that be conservative or liberal, Republican, Democrat. She said that she just knew that at that time, Donald Trump was a controversial figure, and therefore she could make a video that would probably get a lot of exposure. So which story do we believe? For me, this one is really tough because Trish really does strike me as somebody who doesn't know anything about politics nor cares about anything that has to do with politics. So it's really easy for me to believe that story. However, while she has been a really good troll from time to time, I don't think she's that good of an actress.
Hi. Trisha, it's so finally good to be meeting you. I really feel like there's a connection between us, don't you? I think we're gonna be great friends. Yeah. Hey, I'm serious. We need to spend some time. You're out of here. I love you. I'd do anything for you.
Hi. Thank you. You deserve a raise for that one.
Can't be too careful these days. A lot of creeps and stalkers.
And she held up these arguments for a while. And even when she said that this video was satire, why did she give us reasons for her mode of thinking going back to her upbringing? If you were to put me on the spot, I would say it is probably a mix of two. That Trisha Paytas is and was a person who does not care much about politics, does not know much about politics, but at the time probably was repeating a lot of viewpoints that she's heard over the years, probably some of which she herself believed. And I think that she amplified all of this for clicks and for more controversy. So my best bet is that all of these things are true, but only so much. It was directly after that, I mean within like 2 days, that this very big scandal came out involving a Trisha Paytas fan by the name of Daniel E Carroll.
Hello everyone, my name is Daniel E Carroll and this is a special video going out to Trisha Paytas. Yeah, I know it's another Trish video, but
his whole channel is videos about Me Too Me. On his last video, saying why he's mad at me, why I upset him, because I didn't reach out to him or defend him when people were attacked. I can't monitor this person's social media. I can't be this person's mother.
In April of 2016, Trisha posted a video called My Online Stalker. And in that video, she seems very scared, very shaken, and she talks about how afraid she was in her everyday life because she has an online stalker.
It actually scares me so much. Like, my dad was like, you should just come live with us. We live in a gated community. Like, get off the internet. And I just don't want to do that.
She said that she'd tried working with the police, but that they couldn't do much for her. When it comes to online stalking, there's only so much that they could do. It seemed like the only advice they were able to give her is just not to post in real time her location. And she also said she can't get into specifics, but told us a little bit about what was going on. And I will say that it was a bit confusing, looking at this from all different angles, looking at Trisha's side, looking at this fan's side, looking at the chatter around it. It is kind of difficult to put together a timeline of what actually happened. But Trisha does talk about Daniel E. Carroll as a longtime super fan of hers. And those who have watched her content over the years have seen over and over and over again Trisha shouting out Daniel, talking about how much she likes Daniel, referring to Daniel as her friend.
Love it. So thank you, Daniel, for having my back and telling people to shut up.
Happy birthday, Daniel! Daniel, thank you so much for holding down the fort before I came in. I love when Daniel's my intro. Tell everybody hi, Mama.
Acknowledging a lot of his messages, his tweets, and engaging in general with Daniel a lot online. But she made it very clear that they were not friends in real life. They had never spoken on the phone or met in person. She kind of spoke with some regret around using the word friends when talking about her fans early on, because this may have sparked some confusion in Daniel's mind around the relationship that he had with Trisha Paytas. It is important to note that Daniel E. Carroll is an autistic man, I believe, who lives with his mother. So there are some important considerations to keep in mind about the mental and emotional state this man was in during this whole episode, and in general, how he was handling social situations.
And I always just try to be nice to him. I know he has some form of, I think it's autism, and I really was just trying to be kind to him.
So from what I gathered, and I'm trying my best here, like I said, I tried really hard to put together a cohesive narrative. What I gathered on Trisha's side is that there was a point at which Daniel just kind of turned on her, that she was used to seeing these very positive messages coming from him day in and day out, and one day all of a sudden she said that passionate love that he had for her turned into anger and aggression, and that was the point at which she became afraid of him.
I was like, wow, I have a super fan, if you will. I thought, that's cool. That is awesome. I can't reiterate that enough. What's not awesome is when that person starts turning on you. And I don't know what set this person off. I don't know what happened, other than the fact that I wasn't responding to this person enough.
She said the messages and tweets became a lot more hostile, that he was creating multiple accounts to send more of these messages. And she said that she recognized his way of speaking, more or less, or his way of typing. His messages all kind of followed a similar format. And that overall she was just afraid of how far this man's obsession with her could go. She did reference some situation where a stalker situation turned into a murder.
There was a case in the 80s with this girl named Rebecca Schaefer and her killer John Robert Bardo, and it just rings so similar to the story.
How much that truly influenced her feelings, I really couldn't tell. But she just made it very clear that she just wanted to be left alone. And viewers were pretty split on how to receive this video. It seemed at that point that Trisha either advertently or inadvertently sicked her fans on Daniel E. Carroll, whereas other viewers felt that she was being untruthful about this friendship she had with this man for so long. So Daniel told his side of the story on his YouTube channel, and again, just trying to piece together the storyline, what I kind of gathered was that Trish for years was pretty good about keeping up with Daniel and responding to his messages and tweets and all of that. But then at one point just kind of either slowly became more silent towards him or altogether. I didn't gather which one. But regardless, Daniel felt hurt by this. He spoke to a situation where Trish inadvertently hurt one of her fans and made peace with that situation and peace with that fan, and kind of how he put it, like, was talking about spreading love and kindness.
And basically, she blasted them on public. She called them out, actually mentioned my name, said that we were friends. Then I kind of got thinking, when was the last time Trisha even, kind of sort of did anything even close to that?
And at that time, because he hadn't heard from Trisha in a while, he felt slighted because he didn't feel any love coming from Trish when he had been used to this for about 5.5 years. So at that point, he decided that he would go silent for 3 weeks. And he wondered after 3 weeks if Trish at any point would notice.
So after about a week of soul searching, I decided, let's see if she notices if I shut up. So for 3 weeks, I didn't engage any of her social media.
And if I'm not mistaken, she did notice, she did tweet at him that he had gone a little bit silent and wondered if everything was okay. But at this point, I think Daniel was already pretty hurt and upset. So I'm not exactly sure what the tipping point was for Daniel that kind of turned this fiery love to a fiery anger. So if anybody knows, please leave that in the comments below. If I find any more information around that, I will either provide that to you guys in the description or in another video. We'll see.
And she was reacting to the breakup with Sean. Apparently, his fans started to swarm some of the Paytas. One of his fans told one of her fans to keep on cutting, that she should kill herself. And Trisha took down the kayfabe video, apologized profusely to the girl that got hated on. Then I thought back to all the times when random piranhas would tell me to go kill myself. And not one word.
But with Trisha's video outing Daniel as her online stalker, like I said, a lot of her fans started sending hate his way. According to Daniel, they were calling him names, they were threatening him, they were insulting his mother.
They started fucking going at me on an all-out vicious assault, calling me a loser, calling me a pedophile, calling me a stalker, calling me a rapist, even calling me retarded.
Which made him very angry and very afraid of her fans. So what do I think of this situation? This might be one of the most complicated episodes, in my opinion, in terms of deciding who's in the right and who's in the wrong, and here's why. I have been in this situation before. Of course, I've never amassed millions of subscribers and reached a level of fame where my situation mirrored this, but I have had, I don't want to call it a friendship, I don't want to call it a relationship, but I had a relationship, not a romantic relationship, but a relationship with a person for years that sometimes mimicked a friendship because I felt like I couldn't get out of it. Now, I should point out that this person I was dealing with has Asperger's syndrome. A few of my friends have Asperger's syndrome, and in fact, somebody that I dated for 7 years has Asperger's syndrome. So while I'm no expert, I do think that I am able to be considerate in certain ways, and there are certain behaviors that I've picked up on that seem to be attributed to Asperger's syndrome. So I understand that Daniel E. Carroll is autistic. I'm not sure if he's specifically Asperger's, but again, if that's something that I can find some clarity around, I'll pass that on. But this has happened to me with one of the people that I referenced having Asperger's. This person is currently, I believe, and I hope, sitting in a prison for, let's just say, his affinity towards girls he's not old enough to date. Let's just say that. And I don't want to get too in the weeds. That story is public. My name is attached to that story. Maybe I'll tell you guys about it sometime, but this is a video about Trish. The point is that in that situation, I kind of felt backed into a corner and having to be friends with this person because I simply, if I existed online, could not get away from him. So when she said he created multiple accounts, that kind of triggered something in me, because the person I knew would create account upon account upon account, on a gaming platform, on AOL Instant Messenger, anywhere that I could be found, this person would create multiple accounts, because every time I tried to get away and block him, he needed that connection with me. And that's what I came to understand over the years, is that as much as I needed him to get away from me, he needed my friendship and he needed that interaction with me. From what I gathered with this person and with my other friends with Asperger's, it seems that once a friendship is formed and there's a bond there, whether it's perceived or not, that bond becomes very, very important to that person and could potentially be almost debilitating when that's taken away. So that is why I can start to have a little bit of sympathy for both sides of this situation. Hey guys, it's me in editing. I feel like I just need to say, not to twist this and make this out to be that I am comparing Daniel Carroll to this monster of a person that I knew. Having autism and Asperger's syndrome does not make a person a monster, not by any means. All I am doing is drawing comparisons between the social bonds that I saw in my own life and in this situation with Trisha Paytas. This is simply my way of saying this is my personal experience with a similar behavior, which impacts how I view the situation. However, from what I have seen, there is nothing about Daniel Carroll that looks monstrous in any way. Not that you guys would think that of me, but I really wanted to make that very clear. Thanks. I do believe Trish when she says I referred to my fans as friends back in the day and I realized I shouldn't be doing that anymore. We've heard before about parasocial interactions, about how influencers with an audience tend to have a different relationship with their fans than their fans tend to have with them, with the fans feeling more like that influencer is a personal friend of theirs and a big part of their lives. Whereas to the influencer, that fan is a very small part of their life, if anything more than a blip on her radar. And a lot of the videos against Trish in this situation go on and on to show how much she shouted out Daniel in videos. So it was very clear that he wasn't just a fan to her. She knew who he was, but she referred to him as kind of one of her first super fans, which is a fan nonetheless. But I hear Daniel and I understand that to him, this was a very important friendship. What I don't understand is why Trish had to take this to the internet. I can't really see how talking about this on her channel would provide her any more security. In my opinion, this matter should have been dealt with in private directly with Daniel. And if that is something that she couldn't work out, I do believe a restraining order is the next measure she would be able to take. But it was not necessary for her to make this video. And I've said this before, these YouTubers need to be very, very, very careful about doxing their own fans and sicking their fans on somebody that they don't like. And furthermore, not chastising their own fans for this behavior. We talked about this in the Gabbie history. And now we see it with Trish. I don't agree with her move to take this to the internet, which didn't help her, I don't think, or not that I know of, but really did make things so much more difficult in this man's life. So I'm curious as to where that relationship stands today. Maybe I'll look into that, though I am getting a little tired of researching Trisha Paytas, but the show must go on.
Hi. Trisha, it's so finally good to be meeting you. I really feel like there's a connection between us, don't you? I think we're going to be great friends. Yeah, yeah. Hey, I'm serious. We need to spend some time.
You're out of here.
I love you. I'd do anything for you.
A lot of creeps and stalkers.
Why are we seeing colors though? Why are we seeing colors so early? Now this actually might sound racist and I might get in trouble, but I went through a phase where I was definitely only hanging around black people because I thought I was born the wrong race. Like I literally thought I was supposed to be black. Like I feel like I was born the wrong race. I'm not gonna get into it. I feel like I was. I'm sorry. Culturally, I'm a black person. Oh my god, like that one girl who thought she was born the wrong race and like was pretending to be African American for so long. People were getting so mad at her, but to be honest, that's a whole other story about how I feel. I literally feel I was born the wrong race. I do not feel like a white person.
In June of that year, Trisha released, along with her album Daddy Issues, a song called Jungle Fever. And you may guess by the title that this song was about her sexual attraction towards black men, with some lyrics reading, "Fat Farm jeans and cornrows repping his team," and "Take me to a Tyler Perry movie." And I mean, as you can guess, all of the lyrics are just so atrociously stereotypical and racist. And she did post a video talking about this song and some of the reactions to it. And in that video, she says that the N-word is just a word and that it is something that we should just be okay with saying. More importantly, just okay with hearing.
Why can't I say it if it's not meant to offend? How is it offensive? Now all of a sudden our society has become so sensitive, like so sensitive. You know, call me racist, call me homophobic, but I'm gonna call you oversensitive.
She kind of pulled the whole "I have a black friend" card. She talked about how one of the producers on this song was a black man.
I love talking about this with my producer Mark, by the way, who is black.
However, she asked that producer if this song was racist, and he said yes.
First of all, I didn't come up with the term jungle fever. Mark did say, he's like, and it's kind of racist, the term jungle fever.
She made it sound like they kind of joked around about it, but she asked a black man if a song called Jungle Fever was racist, and he said yes, and she moved forward. And in talking about the meaning of the term jungle fever, she talks about how the term compares black people to monkeys in some definitions of the term.
It is racist because like we were looking up like, why is it called jungle fever? It was from like a Stevie Wonder song I remember, but I'm like, I wonder why it's called jungle fever. And it's like literally because they're comparing black people to monkeys, which is so fucking offensive.
And in her words,
and I'm not making light of that, you know what I mean? But at the same time, we should make light of it because people just need to get over this shit. Fucking get over it, you know what I mean?
And a lot of people were very angry with her just saying, just get over it, because just getting over it for people of color who knew about this situation didn't even just mean get over this term jungle fever. It meant get over slavery, get over oppression in general, get over racism, and get over Trisha's inherent privilege.
Now, one of my biggest pet peeves about people is pretty much when they tell other people to get over something that they're not experiencing. And I feel like that is the biggest slap in the face you can give a person who has gone through stuff and who has experienced stuff that you haven't. There's no racism, that we should get over it and stop acting like victims. That's pretty much what she was saying in her video. And it's like, okay, you are privileged, you're white, and you just, every time you open your mouth and you make these videos, I feel like you're just trying to disrespect people for views, and you keep on doing it. How are people still subscribe to you when you sit there and you tell people who have gone through slavery to get over it?
Trisha goes on and on about how she's dated black guys, about how the song is about her attraction to black guys. But what I don't think she realizes is that fetishizing black men is racist. I know we're going kind of back in time here, but I stumbled upon a video that she posted in 2015 called Dating Black Guys. And I'll just insert a couple clips here.
Literally for like 2 years of my life, I only dated black guys. Like that's all I wanted to date. And not even for their personality or looks, like just because I wanted to date a black guy. And like, I don't know, it was weird. I just thought it was like really cool because it's like, I didn't really care about the personality. I didn't even really care if they were like good looking, you know what I mean? I was just like, I just want to date you because you're black and I'm white and I think that'd be really hot. What kind of turned me off from
the whole race.
This really just solidifies my point that Trish was really blind to her own racism, I think. And while I didn't know about this situation at the time, I've heard here and there references to it and how a lot of people stopped following her at that point. And if I'm being honest, I didn't know about this at the time. I don't think I was watching her content at all in 2016 or 2017. I don't know why more people weren't talking about this, and I don't know why she wasn't outright canceled at that time. I was just amazed when I heard her say
What kind of turned me off from the whole race.
Just a snippet of a sentence. I'm amazed that she said that, recorded it, posted it to the internet, and has kept it there. Until today, it's still there on her channel, and people aren't calling attention to this one line. I'm getting heated. We're gonna talk about this in the comments. I'm gonna move on. So it was in December of 2016 that Trish went through a very messy breakup with her then boyfriend, Sean Vanderwilt. They had a relationship that was kind of rocky at times. Sean was a dancer, I believe, kind of up and coming in his career, and got criticized a lot. A lot of people referred to him as a user, accused him of using Trish for her fame, using her for her money, essentially just using her as a way to elevate himself. And in December, Trish posted a video titled, "He Cheated, I'm Done." And honestly, a bunch of videos around this time. So what happened? Apparently there was one day in December that Sean was out spending time with his friends, and something was going on in Trisha's life that she wanted to talk to him and somehow was not able to get in touch with him all day. She says she was trying to get a hold of him, and she could not. It was later brought to her attention that there was a girl who posted a video to Snapchat where Sean was dancing with her. And if I'm not mistaken, initially this was concerning to Trish, but she spoke to this girl and found out that this girl was a lesbian and that they were at a gay club. This girl informed Trish that she saw Sean come in, that he came in holding hands with another man, and that he was kissing this man at the club. And Trisha was devastated. I believe she posted 8 videos in 4 days, which is when we got "He Cheated, I'm Done," as well as "Sean Vanderwilt is Gay." In these videos, she just appears to be crushed. So either way, he's at a gay club and he's gay, or he's out dancing with another girl. I loved him more than anything in the whole entire world. She talks about this other man Sean was with. She says that this was a friend of his that she knew of. And I know who the person is. It's one of his friends that he's hung out with on 4th of July, Halloween. He introduced his parents. Oh my God. That she was just entirely heartbroken. The problem for Trisha here is that a lot of viewers became very outraged that Trisha supposedly outed Sean on her channel. And this whole situation went on to make Sean's life very difficult in many ways.
The past 2 months has been hell. And all the hate messages and the bashing, when none of you even know who I am.
So Sean did sue Trisha at that time, and she talked about it in a video called "Sean is Suing Me."
Now I'm getting sued. Sean, show those true colors.
In that video, she defends herself by saying that he was a public figure, that he was out in public, that this Snapchat video was public and it was not her that took it or posted it, and also that she never said he was gay, which that part can't be true, but the rest does appear to be true. But in this video, she does voice some suspicion that this may all have been planned by Sean for money. She said that she wondered if this whole situation was staged because he knew she would take it to the internet, and at that point he would be able to take her to court.
Sean, I have told you so many times, if you needed money, boo, like, come to me. Like, I've heard so many times.
Now, who knows if that's the case? But since then, Trish and Sean have definitely made up they seem to have remained very close since then. So I may find in researching subsequent years how they were able to bury the hatchet, but they definitely today appear to be very close friends. But it was after this situation, as well as the Sean is suing me video, that Trisha posted her infamous I'm a chicken nugget video.
I woke up this morning feeling like a chicken nugget.
And some people call that a trolling video, but I really think that it was just a video in which Trish talked about her problems, but using really bad analogies.
And this has nothing to do with recent events. There's something wrong with me, the chicken nugget. I don't have fries, I don't have shake, I don't have a plastic toy, I'm a chicken nugget, and a chicken nugget doesn't feel social media's impact. In fact, people are loving chicken nuggets all the time on Twitter and Instagram, and I feel the love as if I was in a 10-pack, or back in the day, a 50-pack.
I sure hope she wasn't trying to be poetic with that. But whether intended or not, Trish did appear to be on something. She claims she isn't.
Before anyone says anything stupid about this, I just woke up, I'm not on medication or drugs or alcohol.
And she says, check my eyes, and stares into the camera for a very long time.
Get my eyeballs.
Her pupils are very small, but then again, I believe she was facing a bright light. But something appears off. I think most of us would agree that something is off in this video. And for what it's worth, in February of 2017, I'm going forward into another year just because I don't think I'll revisit this. Sean did post to YouTube about the situation, and in it, he's kind of vague about the situation. He does start crying, but he does make it very clear that he doesn't hold any bad blood with Trisha. He has nothing but love for her, but that he did nothing to hurt anybody.
I did nothing wrong, and I did nothing to hurt anybody.
That he's got nothing but love for everybody, that he was just having a good time and dancing and partying as he is known for doing.
I was with my agents, I was with my friends, doing what I usually do, dancing with everybody that was with us, that wasn't with us, picking up strangers, dancing with them. That's what I do. That's what I'm known for.
That's really all I got from that video. I didn't get any sort of confirmation or denial that he cheated on her with another man. But like I said, it looks like they've moved on. So now that we're creeping into 2017 and I have talked for this long, I think that this is where we close out this episode of this series. And I do believe that there are some deleted videos from around this time that Trish starts to open up about her problems with pills. I'm probably gonna have to do some digging to see if I can find anything to support that, but I just remember a kitchen floor video from around that time where she talked about how she had been abusing pills and just being all around bad towards Sean, towards her sister, towards everyone in her life. So not knowing about the whole jungle fever thing or the Trump situation either, I must not have been actively watching a ton of YouTube at that time. Things started to get really tumultuous around Trisha's life, and in some of these situations I am able to and was able to sympathize with her, not necessarily agreeing with how she goes about these situations, but it became apparent in 2016 that her fame was starting to create real life problems for her. And to be clear, when I say that, her fame combined with her own actions, her own intentions, her own behaviors, that this combination mixed with fame really started to create some big problems in Trisha's life. So I think this was a really important year. I wanted to shine a light on just this year in this episode. I'm curious to hear what you guys think about these situations. If there's something else in 2016 that happened that you feel is important that I didn't cover, please DM me so that perhaps we can go over that at the end of this series. To you, the one person who's watching, who's not me, Thanks so much for sticking around to the end of this video. Thanks for coming back. I'm looking forward to seeing you down in the comments. So I'll see you there. Bye.